Hello, and welcome back to SpaceChem. I guess I will get the bad news out of the way up front. I am going to be done with this game. I'm not playing it anymore. These defense missions, I just really do not enjoy them. And as much as I enjoy the rest of the game, I'm not willing to put up with these in order to experience the rest of the game's content. So rather than just leave the video at that, I thought I would at least show off what I have so far for this Don't Fear the Reaper mission. I've spent over 6 hours on it. I'm pretty sure I know what I have to do to beat it at this point, but the fact that the defense missions don't really tell you what your objective is kind of the big sticking point for me. I have a solution that, in my mind, should be a viable solution because I'm getting all of the inputs to all of the outputs, I'm doing the things, but I can't tell. Well, let's just show what this is. So we have the station, a bunch of asteroids. We're like in an asteroid shower, and asteroids are coming in, and we have this laser. The laser has 4 inputs. Inputs 2 and 3 fire the laser. Input 1 will rotate the laser, and input 4 will rotate the laser in the other direction. So we can turn it, there's 5 total orientations. Go straight on, up 1, up 2, down 1, down 2. And the issue I'm having is that, well, first of all, I scrapped my initial, I spent about an hour or so building, and then I scrapped it and started over, because I figured that I'd be more efficient that way, which I'm sure I was. The way this is currently set up, I have pretty good control over when it turns, but I do not have any control over when it fires. It just kind of fires whenever it wants to. Now, the obvious thing to fix in order to get the solution to work is to fix it so that it fires properly. However, the mechanics of the mission, basically where the asteroids spawn is random, and I have to. So with my current situation, sometimes I should have it working, and sometimes it won't. Like an asteroid can be coming, and it can just happen to be hit by the laser, or it can happen to be between 2 blind spots. And obviously, like, that's an engineering issue. I could fix that. The other issue is that there's, I guess, a boss, if you want to call it that, this derelict spacecraft that comes in, and I need to hit it. But even if I hit it, I think I've hit it with more than 2 full laser outputs, and it still hasn't gone down. So I need to have more continuous laser output on that particular target. The problem is I don't know how much more, because the game isn't very clear about this. It's like, do I need to have a perfectly continuously firing laser at all times in order to destroy it in time? Or do I not? Like, can I just hit it, with 3 full lasers? Would that be enough? The other issue is, I'm still not, despite having spent over 6 hours on this mission, I'm still not entirely certain what it is that triggers the laser firing. Obviously, it's not 1 and 4. I know what those do. It's just turning the laser. But 2 and 3, my guess is that input 2, which is this molecule here, continuously required for the laser to fire, fires the laser if properly fueled. So, I mean, I guess it probably... I guess what it's coming down to is I probably need this to be stockpiled, and then I release the hydrogen where appropriate. The ratio is a little bit funny on these things, so it just kind of goes. I don't have a recycling output I can put things into. But again, I could probably fix that through the use of fusion, if I really wanted to. Which I don't, which is why, like I said, I'm done with this mission. Let's check the 3 reactors briefly, so I can just kind of show what that is, and then I will do one playthrough so you can kind of see what it looks like, at the very least. This first reactor does 2 things. I have methane coming in, and methane coming out, because that's what I need to turn either of these. But I also have methane being broken down into hydrogen and carbon, splitting it into its separate parts. That's so that when it goes to the second reactor, I then either reassemble the methane, or I do a bunch of fusion stuff in order to get hydrogen, nitrogen, or double hydrogen going on to the third reactor. The third reactor takes those three inputs, which is in a deterministic order. This isn't like a random mission where these are going to be mixed. I have full control over what order these come in. And this will always output this in a perfect ratio. And I think that's part of the issue I'm having, is that I can't be doing this with a perfect ratio, because I get way more hydrogen than I get nitrogen trifluoride. And I think this is what I need stockpiled, and then this is what fires it. I think. I haven't actually tested that to confirm for sure, but I think that's what's going on. So the fact that I am disassembling the methane here and then reassembling it here might seem a bit ridiculous. That's just because I wanted to have easier inputs to work with for fusing the nitrogen trifluoride, because both of these do fusion. And then on top of that, I have my controls all assigned to various tasks. And again, I probably need to assign a control to laser firing, which I don't have currently, because all four of these are required just for aiming the laser. So let's start with that. I'm going to turn on Control C. What that's going to do is it's going to set one of these aside. Turn off Control C. So now at any time, I can hit Control B, and this will, one of the Waldos will release this, which will turn this up one notch. So Control B is turn upwards. Control C is just store the methane. Likewise, if we look at this one, let's do Control A, which is to store the methane here. It's not going to do it for a while because it's going to have to do a cycle first on the blue. In fact, we can watch what's happening here until that happens. So we've outputted a nitrogen. There's a bunch of flip-flops here that just ensure that periodically I'm dropping stuff off here and bonding it. Now, this is the other reason I have two fusion reactors doing this, is I needed 6 bonders in the other reactor. So I decided instead just to do 2 here to make the double hydrogens. So yeah, hydrogen's doing its thing. And this convoluted mess of flip-flops guarantees that I will sometimes get the double hydrogen and sometimes the single hydrogen in the perfect ratio to not have any wasted materials. So as you can see, here's our first double hydrogen being outputted. Also, you can kind of see the control here, the way this works. So I have Control A active currently, and it just triggered. So now we're going to reassemble the methane, and then we're going to store it over here. So now that this is going, I can turn this off, because if I store a second one when I'm storing the first one, it's going to be a problem. It will collide and break the simulation. And it takes a while before the asteroids come, so I don't need to show that off just yet. Okay, and then these flip-flops, make sure we do 4 passes. And then we also have the Control Ds in various places. That's what would release this. So again, we're just kind of waiting. I can now release that at any time by doing a Control D, and that will turn the laser. Alright. Then we've got this one. Well, what's this mess doing? Well, this mess is fusing and outputting. Basically, every time we get a double hydrogen, we output it immediately. And everything else is going towards these, which we also output immediately once we can. And what this convoluted mess of things does is it accepts inputs in the following order. Nitrogen, single hydrogen, double hydrogen. Nitrogen, hydrogen, hydrogen. Nitrogen, double hydrogen, hydrogen. Nitrogen, hydrogen, double hydrogen, hydrogen. And then the cycle restarts. And so this is a perfect ratio that will generate, I think it's 4 of these. 3. It looks like 3 of these. I'm just checking my notes here. 3 of these and 3 of these. Wait. I don't even remember. Like, this was a couple of days ago. I deliberately sat on this because I didn't want to just post a video when I was angry about things. I wanted to think about what I was doing going forward, and like I said, I've decided I'm not playing this game anymore. Which is a shame, because I enjoy the game quite a bit, but I'm just not willing to put up with these defense missions. And also, I guess to be clear, it's not because this took 6 hours and I failed it. It's because I failed it without knowing exactly why I failed it. That's the issue. The previous mission I spent 3 hours on. I actually enjoyed that. That was fine. Although there is an issue with the recordings because I have other stuff I need to do in my life. I'm not just playing games on YouTube. So I would definitely have to change the pacing of uploads and stuff regardless if I was going to stick with this game. Because I don't think I can afford to be, uploading 6-hour videos for every mission going forward either. I just would have to... I would have had to have changed some things, but I think it's just better to drop the game altogether. Okay, so... this, down here, is actually information. It is telling me that the first asteroid that's coming in will be appearing in the center. Kind of. This is another frustration. This information seems to be pseudo-random. Not only are the asteroids coming in a random order, but the input doesn't exactly line up with the input here. One theory I had was that left, center, and right is relative to the laser. So this is left, this is center, and this is right. However, everything seemed to be offset from that. So my current theory is that it's actually relative to the screen. So top is left, center of the screen, which is off from the laser, is center. So we'll see when this comes in where it is. And bottom is right. However, that also isn't quite accurate because sometimes I'll have something that's like right here. The waveform is between left and center, and it'll spawn in at the top right corner. So this is like a hint, but not exactly. I guess it tells you roughly where you need the thing to be pointing, but it doesn't give you the exact information that you need. Also, this control center health is down here. It took me like 6 hours to realize that I had a health bar because I was used to it being like next to the station somewhere, I think is where it was. I don't know, was it always here? I don't know, this hasn't really been relevant before, but this was another thing I was considering is like, can I just, like how many asteroids can I just let pass through and hit the station? Because if one hits the station, you don't lose. I think I determined it was 5. You can have 5 asteroids hit the station. But then the unmanned spacecraft that comes in does more damage than the asteroids, although I've always died to that, so I don't know if it's possible. If I perfectly hit all the asteroids, maybe I can let that go through without clearing it, and I'd, survive that hitting the station. I don't know. One theory I had was that the asteroids don't matter at all, and it's just the derelict craft that I need to shoot down, but that was quickly disproven when I finally realized this thing was going on after I died after, being hit 5 times. Okay, so we have the laser has been charged, and it's firing. Wonderful noise, by the way. Hearing this over and over was not great. Anyway, so I've been talking for, oh yeah, that was another thing, and that's just, okay, laser, let's speed up so you can go away. Okay. Another thing, because I did 6 hours straight of this recording for the previous session a couple days ago. I don't think I've ever in my life talked continuously for 6 hours without pause. So I think I might have actually hurt myself. I was tasting iron at one point. Like, I don't think I was actually bleeding, but it was... Like, I can understand why people that are, full-time streamers need to take a break from their streaming from time to time to rest their voice. Like, I've followed people who've literally gone to the doctor over voice issues from, like, hurting themselves from streaming too much. So... yeah, I guess that's kind of my first experience with that sort of thing. But that's not, too important. That's just kind of a side point here. Obviously, I don't want to be doing, 6-hour recording sessions regularly in any event. All right, so we see the first asteroid peeking onto the screen here. They come in pretty slowly at 1 times speed. It looks like, yeah, so this one was center. It's actually off center, so the laser's going to miss. However, if I turn, well, I can show this. So D, let's turn the laser down. And I think this is up here. Like, these are kind of reversed from what I would initially expect, so I kind of remember based on the controls rather than anything else. So if it's down here, we'll see this thing will, yeah, take that route and output. We're now going to turn the laser. I now need to run A, yeah, in order to generate another methane in order to stock something here so that I can get another ability to turn down in the future. And like I said, like I think my solution here is actually pretty cool. Like, there's a lot of interesting things that I'm doing. It just bothers me that I didn't have the appropriate feedback to know that this wasn't going to work in advance. And that basically what the solution comes down to is trial and error in order to, like, okay, I have a solution, it seems to meet all the criteria of the mission, and then the game just kind of arbitrarily decides, well, no, your solution's not good enough, do it again. But it doesn't tell you in advance that your solution's not good enough. And that's really the main issue I have. Alright, so we'll speed things up a bit. I usually play most of this mission at times too, it's just that I was trying to do all this talking. So, actually we'll go ×3. Okay. So as you can see, the second one came in, I actually happened to be at the right angle to hit it. So I've destroyed the first two, that's actually a pretty decent start. Let's rotate up, because the next one's coming on the left. We might be able to hit this with a straight. And usually when I'm doing this sort of stuff, okay, we've outputted it, now we'll stock another one. While I'm outputting and stocking, I go down to ×1 speed. And then, okay, now that we stocked this, turn this off so I don't get a simulation error. Alright, so things seem to be fine, let's go faster again. That's really kind of what this whole process is, and I think... Yeah, I mean, you know, again, like, the neat game. There are a lot of things in this solution. Oh, okay, so as you can see, this was up here. Like, there are a lot of things in this solution that I like, but it's just overall, the overall experience was so negative that I'm not willing to put up with this anymore. We'll continue playing this out. I suspect that this is going to be a failure because I haven't modified it since the last time it failed. That's kind of another idiosyncrasy of my solution, is that this reactor is a lot more reactive than this one, if I'm trying to do things quickly. Okay, so we've turned. I want to stock another one. I'm not going to go into ×2 speed until this molecule picks something up, which it'll be doing soon, or this Waldo, rather, picks something up, which it'll be doing soon. Okay. And I think we might actually just miss with this. Yeah, because my laser output... Okay, we grazed it. Next one's coming in at the same angle, which we might miss. We'll be optimistic. And turn again. And hope that we hit it. Nope, fired too soon. No, we did get it, though. If we turn once, we might hit this, but I think we're going to miss, so I'm actually just going to keep this at this angle for now. Obviously, we're not hitting that one. There is no way. I think even if we... Well, maybe if we were faster on everything, we would have been able to hit this, but I don't think there's any way of doing that. Okay, so now we want to turn down, obviously. Turning it down is really slow. We're probably not hitting this either. I think both of these asteroids just got through. With the solution that I have. Waiting until that goes, which it did. We're stocking this again. One goes. Now we're going to output. Okay, we're back on center. Now we'll do another one of these. So yeah, these are both going to hit. This is okay with a center facing laser. I think we'll barely scrape the bottom of that. So yeah, this position here is center, I guess. And I guess the waves get bigger as we get closer to the station. So yeah, as you can see, we took a hit. Damage is down. We'll turn down again. Might be able to get this one. It's about 6,500 cycles when the derelict spacecraft comes in, for what it's worth. The derelict spacecraft is also in a random position, because of course it is. Okay, good timing. Okay. Next one is coming center, it looks like, so want to turn up. You're done. Knock another one. This is going to be too high? I mean, it's probably up here. In fact, let's just make that assumption and turn up in advance. Oh, yeah. So, like, it's... You know, starting to... we missed that asteroid anyway, despite predicting in advance that it was going to go that way. So I guess we turn up again. Shoot. I was wrong. Okay, well, now we wait there. Oh, and we got a reactor error because I was paying attention to the laser instead. But I think you get the point. Like, this is kind of what it is. I don't really feel like playing that out again. So yeah, that's the end of SpaceChem. Unfortunate that it kind of ended this way, but that's just kind of how I feel about it. How I feel about things. I don't want to be playing a game that I'm not enjoying. So we will be playing a different puzzle game in a couple of days. Guess I might see you there.